Loan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, the Loan Charge Action Group lobbied Parliament. They represent 100,000 families, including nurses, doctors, teachers, social workers and contractors. And because of retrospective taxation by this government, going back 20 years, many of these families will lose their home, forced into bankruptcy, and I'm afraid some will commit suicide. That cannot have been the intention of the government. So could we have a statement from the Financial Secretary next week so that we can ask him questions about something I'm sure the government didn't intend to happen?
Leader of the House.
Well, I was aware yesterday of a lobby here in Parliament of those affected by the loan charge issue, and my honourable friend is absolutely right to raise it. I would encourage him to seek an opportunity to raise it during the budget debate next week, where Treasury Ministers will be available, or indeed on the 6th of November, which is Treasury Questions Day.
And then I get an email here from... who's it from? From Don, who says, this tax business is a disaster. The NHS told temp nurses they would only be employed if they came through an umbrella agency who treated them as self-employed. Then HMRC told them what they had done was illegal. Amazing. And that's happened across the board. Now, any tax avoidance scheme, surely we have to accept that if the HMRC thinks it's wrong, well, they can then stop it. And they can say no one can sign up to this sort of thing in future. But you surely can't go after people who've done something that's perfectly legal. And particularly when they've taken professional advice and QCs and accountants have told them, well, this is what you should do. Laura's in Bethnal Green. Hello, Laura.
Hi.
What would you like to say?
Well, I'm actually a doctor, and I took 3 years out of my training so that I could locum. Now, the reason was because I wanted to travel and mainly to do volunteer work in India and Cambodia and other places. So over 3 years, I worked for 6 months so that I could have 6 months off to do volunteer work in hospitals abroad. But the hospital would only employ me if I went through an agency and I went through the loan charge. And I don't have any kind of financial acumen, so I joined a company, went through the loan charges, and I had to do this. Otherwise, as an NHS doctor, I wouldn't have the time off or the money and the kind of security, knowing that I could pay for my bills while I'm away and, not earning any money doing volunteer work. So then, over 3 years, the total amount is now 174,000,
wow.
And which is it's just incredible. And I'm having to sell my house. And even now, I'm back to being an NHS doctor, but the pay isn't great. I mean, I have to work an extra shift, like a 12-hour shift a month, just to keep up with bills. So even though I could pay it off over 5 years, I'm not going to be able to pay it off. And even though I sold my house, I'm only going to have £10,000 in profit. So I don't know. I'm really stuck, and it's not as though I could go back in time. And I don't know. I'm just kind of stuck.
Well, I completely understand why you're quite emotional about it. I think anybody would be, and you're kind of proving that you are exactly the kind of person that Greg Mulholland there was talking about, somebody who's, you're trying to do your best, you're doing your job as best you can, and then you have this burden on top of you, and it's causing you a lot of stress.
It is. And I didn't, it's not as though I can go back in time. And the hospital, to do locum work so that I could do volunteer work and have that 6 months luxury off, I had to go through an agency. I had to do the loan charges. Otherwise, they wouldn't even employ me. And even the accountant signed me up for all of these things, setting up my own company. And if that was what everyone did, and then I just did it, I can't go back in time. So I don't see how they can then retrospectively go back. I don't know.
Well, I don't understand how it's even legal for them to do so, but no doubt they employ very expensive lawyers that have advised them that it is. Laura, thank you very much.